Well, hello everybody. G'day, aloha. Welcome to the second call for 2021. This is our 22nd Dr. Wallach call with lecture and Q&A. I like to call the 2021 version of Dead Doctors Don't Lie with Q&A, where there's an opportunity for you and your friends and associates to actually ask Dr. Wallach in person a question. And I am very thrilled and thankful to have whom I think is the best doctor on the planet, Dr. Joel Wallach, naturopathic doctor, doctor of veterinary medicine. He has spoken at the UN, the Tesla event. He's been nominated for a Nobel Prize in Medicine. He's got a book in the Smithsonian. And very famous for the book and CD and cassette version of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. I would like to say I'm not a healthcare professional. I am a Youngevity distributor. So my job is to get the information that Dr. Wallach is talking about out to the people that are interested. And you can do the same if you are a Youngevity distributor. If you're listening to this call and you want to know more, and you don't know who to contact the person that referred this video to you. And they can help you. If you need to get support, contact the office in New Zealand or the United States, and they can give you all the information you need. Youngevity is a direct selling company. So everybody has what they call an upline, and they are there to help you with either your product information or building your business. I am a distributor, so you can do this part-time, full-time, or become a customer and buy at wholesale prices. The information is in the chat box, so please have your chat box open, and that's how we can get to your questions. So if you do have a question, please follow those instructions and we can get to those at Q&A. I want to thank everybody that has participated so far, especially Dr. Wallach. And just quickly, I will announce Dr. Wallach's bookstore. If you are in the US or Canada, you can go directly online and just click the books or CDs you would like. If you are in Australia or New Zealand, you need to go to drjwallach.com, get the phone number from the website after you've picked the book or CD you would like to purchase, and call back in Pacific time business hours and they can send that book or CD to you. I use these tools to build my business along with the calls we're doing today. New Zealand office is 1-800-756-467. That is the corporate office where they ship the products from in Australia and New Zealand, and USA is 1-800-982-3189. Dr. Wallach, welcome back again. Thanks for giving us your time, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say today. And thank you for everybody on the call for participating as well.
Well, thank you, Jamel. Good day, everybody. And thank you so much for all the great things you do. I'm going to put things in perspective, since we have this pandemic going on. This is a man-made thing. It's not racial, even though different races have different levels of impact. It's not a racial thing, it's a dietary thing. And I'll give you some examples here. The USA, we have the highest rate of infections and deaths of any country in the world. Right now, as of this morning, we had 24,356,000 infections and 411,000 dead. Okay, that's the United States. I'm going to compare Australia, which has, of course, we have a population of 329 million. You have a population of 25.6 million. And you had, as of this morning, 909 dead and 28,000 infected. Let's look at a couple of states in the United States that are very similar in population, Florida and Texas. And Texas is kind of a mixed population, kind of similar to Australia and New Zealand, with indigenous peoples and so forth, very similar, about the same population, 28 million, you have 25, almost 26 million. And Texas had 2,166,000 infections and 32,800, almost 33,000 dead. Okay. And Florida, similar population, 22 million, had 1,589,000, almost 1,600, excuse me, 1,600,000 infections and 25,000 dead. And so what is going on here? Why is it that these two states in the United States have such high numbers of infections and deaths, compared to you guys? Well, it's because the indigenous peoples eat wheat. They have a fry bread. It's a deep fried bread. It's a flat bread they call bannock. Okay. And up until 1860, all the Native Americans, all the indigenous peoples had what they called the three sisters, okay, which was maize or corn, potatoes. They called it the three sisters. Okay. Well, after 1860, the Scottish introduced wheat to them. They began to have this bannock, this wheat bread, and they began to get gluten issues. They didn't know it, but they began to get gluten issues. And 400 years ago from today, 400 years ago, there was one tribe of Indians in the northern Minnesota. There's a long story, but the short version is the Ojibways. They're kind of a small branch or a band off of the Cherokee Nation, the Ojibways. They went to northern Minnesota, and began to eat wild rice like Asians. These are Native Americans. They're eating wild rice like Asians. 27, as of today, 27 infections and 0 dead. Now, they have a population of about almost 400,000. Okay, about just short of 500,000 people. They have 27 infections and 0 dead. And then you look at the Navajo Indians in Arizona, southwest of there, very similar population, 332,000, again, almost 500,000 population. They have 26,000 infections and 10,000 dead. 10,000 dead is more than 0 dead, and 26,000 infections is more than 27. So what's the difference? Well, the Navajo Indians in Arizona live on wheat, this bannock bread, whereas again, the Ojibwe Indians in Minnesota live on rice. Big difference. So the Ojibwe Indians in Minnesota are Asians. They act like our Asians when it comes to diet. And the people who eat rice and potatoes and corn do very well during these pandemics. And this all started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, when Thomas Edison and Jonathan Leibs pulled the switch in the first commercial electric generating plant. And within a couple of years, everybody had switched from wood stoves and fireplaces and fire pits to electricity. Well, on the surface, that was good. Boy, they got all kinds of energy and low pollution. They had factories and everything that could be run by electricity, but they didn't have any wood ashes to put in their gardens. Wood ashes were a source of nutritional minerals. They were universal. Every peoples on earth until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, up until that point, everybody in the world was getting minerals from the wood ashes out of their stoves and fireplaces and fire pits. But once we went to electricity, everything began to happen. So the first major pandemic was the Spanish flu in 1918. In America, we lost 657,000 Americans died. Our worst month was October of 1918, when 195,000 Americans died. And of course, then in 2003 and 2005, we had H1N1, SARS, MERS, and COVID-2. And we came out with the book, Hell's Kitchen, and the CD, Hell's Kitchen. It goes into why all this happened, because nobody was getting nutrition. The wood ashes were our source of minerals, which made our bone marrows happy so they could make white blood cells and antibodies to kill and eat viruses. Well, once we went to electricity, there was no more wood ashes to put in our gardens. And commercial fertilizers only have 3 nutrients in it, because plants only need 3 nutrients, and we need 60. And so that's when our troubles began, okay? And so that's why we're in trouble now throughout the world with the wheat-eating peoples, okay? We have terrible, terrible numbers of pandemic COVID-19, whereas when you have the rice-eating peoples, they have extremely low levels of infections and deaths because they don't have the damage to their intestines and they can absorb nutrients. And even even peoples like in Australia and also Vietnam, they eat a lot of seaweed and kelp and things like that, which have a lot of sea minerals in there. And so we have some wonderful products, which we call Fucoid Z and Ocean's Gold and things like that, that are made from the seaweed from these oceans, which give people minerals they need to make their bone marrow happy so they can defend themselves. And so that's what's going on. And that's why we have these pandemics. And if everybody were to give up wheat, barley, rye, and oats and live on corn and potatoes and rice and take the 90 essential nutrients, we'd never have another pandemic like we're having now. Okay, Jamel, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wallach. And please put your questions in the chat box. We're going to start off with people in that chat box very shortly,
Okay.
and people that have emailed me as well. Firstly, I'm going to go to one of the questions that were emailed me earlier in the week. Graham from Adelaide wants to know, so he said, the other week when you were saying you had 2 main meals a day, the breakfast and
yes,
the evening
dinner.
And you have most of your supplements, and you supplement twice a day with that food. Because, you know, a lot of us that are 40 and over have been taught the most important meal of the day is breakfast, and to have mostly grain, you know, the food pyramid that we used to have. I'd like to comment a bit on that too, Dr. Wallach. He wants to know, is eating a fruit salad as an in-between meal, is that bad for blood sugar or anything like that? What would your advice be with things like that? Because people talk about fruit and the sugars in it.
Sure. Okay. We have to appreciate that if you have blood sugar issues, it's not because you're eating fruit, it's because you're missing a couple of nutrients. These things are not genetic. If you look at the Garden of Eden, it was all fruit. You know, if you believe in the Bible says the Garden of Eden had fruit. It didn't have corn and wheat and stuff like that, and it just had fruit. Now, and so when you have a sugar issue and an energy issue, back in the old days, they used to call that narcolepsy. People would get sleepy in the middle of the day and that kind of stuff. And today we call it reactive hypoglycemia. But for breakfast, this is my typical breakfast, Jamel, is I'll have like 3 ice cream scoops full of rice. It could be wild rice, white rice, yellow rice, red rice. No fried rice because it's got the bad stuff in it. But rice, 3 ice cream scoops full of that. I'll have some smoked Alaska salmon. I will also have a small baked sweet potato. So I'm having quite a bit of carbohydrates for breakfast. And I will have a couple of sugar-free and gluten-free yogurts. And then I will have half of my daily supplements right then. I'll have all 90 essential nutrients. I take a healthy brain and heart pack. I take some sweeties. I take glucogel. I take Fucoid Z. I take the Ocean's Gold. I take MSM. I do all that kind of stuff, okay, for breakfast. And then for lunch, I have our triple treat chocolate. I'll have triple treat chocolate along again with some yogurt. And I'll have a rebound or a sports drink with 100 nutrients in it, or a sports drink rebound with 100 nutrients in it, okay? And so that was designed for professional athletes and Olympic athletes. And then for dinner time, I'll have a gluten-free pizza, about 10-inch diameter gluten-free pizza. I weigh 142 pounds. I might have a lamb chop. I might have a beef steak. This meat, my red meat is medium rare. I could have some grilled fish also, but I will have 3 or 4 scoops of rice. Oh, for breakfast, I also forgot I have three eggs with soft yolks for breakfast. And then for dinner time, again, sweet potatoes and rice. And I try to have beef or lamb or poultry, chicken and turkey, that kind of stuff. And the remainder of my supplements. And I don't take the rebound or sports drink after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So if I'm going to drink 2 of those a day because I'm going to be working out in the yard or something, there you go. Whether it's in the powder, the sticks, we have the little individual servings, and then we have the cans. I don't take it after 3 o'clock because it'll keep me up all night. If I'm going to do research all night on the computer, I'll drink a rebound at 5 o'clock. But that's my eating schedule.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach, so much. I think we can actually make a whole segment just on that because as you've been saying for a long time, that the food is one of your most famous comments is it's not what you eat, it's what you absorb.
That's right. And if you're eating gluten, wheat, brown, rye oats, oatmeal for breakfast, no. Pancakes for breakfast, no. French toast for breakfast, no. If you're going to have pizza, it's got to be a gluten-free crust, okay, made out of cauliflower or rice or something like that. You can't have the regular standard Domino's pizza. I mean, even Domino's Pizza sells gluten-free pizza, okay? And so it's one of those things you don't have to be bored. There's plenty of variation there, but I do, and I love my red meat. I grew up on a little beef farm, so I like to eat beef and lamb and chicken and turkey, that kind of stuff. Fish, did a lot of fishing. We ate rabbit and quail, all those kind of things.
Yes, and the variety of the good food list is huge.
Oh yeah.
People that say,
Just,
"Oh, I've got to give
no
up."
wheat, no wheat, butter, rye, oats. No wheat, butter, rye, oats.
And the other thing that I've heard you say over the years, and we're going to TED after this section here, but the other thing that I've heard you say over the years too is that people that go on the good food list and get rid of the bad foods, they're not absorbing the nutrients per their body weight and protocol, and they still have the sugar cravings. It's because they're not absorbing the minerals. Is that correct?
That's correct, because your pancreas, which makes insulin, requires these nutrients for the insulin to work properly on every cell wall of every cell in your body. Also, if you cannot absorb nutrients, you cannot make white blood cells to go through your bloodstream and kill and eat viruses like the pandemic virus. You cannot make stem cells to make antibodies to go through your bloodstream and kill viruses, bacteria, and fungus. And this is why, Jamel, and you probably have this too in Australia, and New Zealand, and like we have here in the States. We have older people when they're 50s, 60s, 70s. They have to go to the doctor's office once a month to get an iron shot and a B12 shot because they're anemic. We have some people have to get a transfusion once every couple of months because they're not making enough platelets. They get bleeding under their skin. And then after a while, the doctor says, you've got medullary dysplasia, your bone marrow is dead because your age, you're 70 years old now, your bone marrow is dead, you can't make white blood cells, you have a low white blood cell count, you can't make antibodies, you can't make red blood cells, you can't make platelets, you're going to bleed to death one night. So we're going to have to give you a bone marrow transplant. Do they give bone marrow transplants in Australia?
Yeah, and my mother just went to a doctor. She's taking some Youngevity products as well.
But get her off of gluten, and she won't need a bone marrow transplant.
Right. I'm going to get her on the call next week. And a follow-up with my dad, who was on the call the other day. Thank you, Dr. Wallach. And I think all those extra things that you talk about put all the jigsaw pieces together, because when you just hear one thing and a lot of people can't quantify it, they go, well, that doesn't make sense. But when you explain it in a way like that, that's where the distributors like us and us on the call come in, because we need to be able to get that information to the people to understand.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. And that's the advantage I have, having done 32,000 autopsies, okay? And these are in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. As you said, my thesis, which represented 20,000 autopsies alone, and then Dr. Milan and I went to China. We did 1,700 autopsies in China. And the results of that, we were able to, through lawsuits, against baby food manufacturers, we're able to eliminate cystic fibrosis, thought to be a genetic disease. It's not. We're able to eliminate muscular dystrophy. Did you guys ever hear of Jerry Lewis and the telethon, for muscular dystrophy there in Australia?
We have from your CDs, but that's about it, really.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he used to raise millions of dollars every year for research for over 20 years. We gave him the cure. We told him what the cure was for muscular dystrophy. We gave him charts of, a couple of dozen kids that we had cured of muscular dystrophy. He got excited. He took it to the Muscular Dystrophy Association in 2011. They fired him, and then they had to give up their telethon by 2015 because they couldn't raise any money without him. He brought them the cure. Now, one I'm really, really proud of, which was sudden infant death syndrome. Mothers were supposed to be laying on the babies and, killing them by laying on the babies. Well, it turns out then only 2% of the babies that died of sudden death syndrome were in bed with their mothers when they died. 90% were in their own cribs. So they changed the name. I forced them to change the name to crib death instead of sudden death syndrome. Well, that same lawsuit, they got rid of cystic fibrosis and muscular dystrophy. That same nutrient deficiency, based on the 1,700 autopsies that Dr. Milan and I did in China, eliminated crib death. And by September 13th, 2014, every case of crib death was eliminated. We haven't had any more since. Every newspaper said, we don't know why, but crib death has vanished in our state. We don't know why, but crib death has vanished. Well, that's because I forced them to put that nutrient in the baby formulas, and it was actually a nutritional deficiency, a heart attack of babies, as opposed to the mothers laying on the babies. So medical doctors miss it badly, and so that's why. Let's see, what do they say? Only dead doctors don't lie.
That's right, and you can get your book from the Dr. Wallach website, and carry my bunch of CDs here.
There you go.
And you can get your ID, distributor information and everything there by going to drjwallach.com. We're going to go to Ted right now. Ted, let us know where you're from and have a chat with Dr. Wallach. Here he goes.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. How are you?
Okay, sir. I apologize. I failed. Where are you from, Ted?
From Sydney.
Sydney,
I grew up
okay.
in Canada and immigrated to Australia about 40 years ago.
Okay.
But I've been living in Australia mostly during that time. But however, I did grow up watching Jerry Lewis.
Okay, so you know who I was talking about.
Absolutely. Yes, I know. And I even tried to inquire about, what the mainstream media's perception of why he stopped the telethon. And
well, they fired him.
Yes, yeah, I know. Yeah. Now, I've been on Youngevity for probably about 5 years. I had a major issue with my bones. I kept breaking bones and tearing ligaments. And so finally, that's what sort of forced me to force my hand. And I followed the protocol. And so for about 5 years, I've been on Youngevity, and I'm in better shape than I was several years ago. So I thank you so much for that. However, I still get a little bit of inflammation, and I'm just wondering, I've read up.
Now, are you talking about in your joints, your hips and knees?
Yes, yeah, a little bit of my back. Like I still play ice hockey. I'm 62. I still play ice hockey.
Okay.
And I referee. And so typically the next day,
and you're looking pretty good for 62. Yeah.
Look, yes, thank you very much. I'm quite active as well.
Now, let me ask you a quick question here. Are you coloring your hair, or is that your natural hair color?
Look, I'm touching it up. It's silver around the sides.
Okay,
but I
now,
still have all my hair though.
Yeah. Do you have any varicose veins or spider veins in your legs?
No.
Okay, good. Okay. Now, it's not unusual for a Canadian to have the problems you have, because their biggest crop in Canada is wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Everybody there eats gluten. And the Canadian numbers, okay, let me give you some Canadian numbers here. If I can find, here it is, Canada. Okay, Canada has 37 million people, about 12 more million people than the Australians. And the Canadians have 18,000 dead, and 719, almost 720,000 infected, compared with the Australians that have 900 dead. I think 18,000 dead is more than 900, okay?
Yes.
And that's because everybody in Canada is eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats. That's their biggest crop, okay? And of course, they drink a lot of beer. Nothing wrong with that, but I urge you, if you're gonna drink beer, drink the rice beer from Australia and New Zealand. They also have rice beer from Japan and China and some of the other Asian countries. But what I want you to do, make sure that everybody in your household stays away from gluten, so you can maximize absorption. No wheat, barley, rye, and oats. You cannot work in a bakery. You cannot do it, anything like that. And what's your body weight, Ted?
187 pounds.
Okay. Do you have any other issues? Diabetes, high blood pressure?
No. The only thing I get and I think it's from milk, is that I get nasal congestion, mucus, like all the time. Yes.
Okay. One last question before I give you your answer. Do you have any ringing in your ears, any tinnitus, or dizziness, vertigo? Okay, good.
No.
All right. Well, here we go. You need to get rid of all the bad foods, and you've already done this, but it's for the greater listening audience also. No fried foods, no processed meats with nitrates and nitrites, absolutely no oils of any kind. Salad dressings, that's what lemons are for, and that kind of stuff. We have a whole division called Savor, which goes into all the safe things like our pink Himalayan salt with 84 minerals in it and so on, as well as salad dressings that are safe. But then also no gluten, no wheat, butter, iron, oats of any kind. There are no such things as gluten-free oats, okay? Absolutely, I want you to take 2 of our Healthy Brain and Heart packs per month, 2 Healthy Brain and Heart packs per month, a full dose everything twice a day. I also want you to take, can you get MSM there?
Yes, in fact, I'm starting to order it now.
Okay, good. So I want you to start out with 9 a day. That'll be 2 bottles a month. So you can take 3 with each meal. After the pain and inflammation begins to go away, you can cut it down to 3 twice a day for maintenance of the MSM. It deals with cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, bones, bone matrix, disc between the vertebrae. And I also want you to get our collagen. We have the collagen peptides. We have the glucogel, liquid, and so forth. And so I want you to deal with all that, and your bones will all rebuild, the joints will rebuild, the cartilage will rebuild, the disc will rebuild, and as good as you feel now, you'll feel 20 years younger.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Just on a side note, lectins, are they something, I'm hearing about plant lectins potentially causing issues with our immune systems, and
yeah, well, if you stay away from gluten, fried foods, butter, iron, oats, and guess what? You won't have to worry about lectins because they're gone also.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I've heard that, like,
stay away from all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
You can't stay away from lectins and eat gluten. You got to stay away from all the bad stuff.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Well, God bless you. Come on every couple of weeks or so, because, you're suffering from something that a lot of people suffer from, and they're going to want to hear your testimony. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. God bless.
Thanks, Ted. And remember, you are welcome to download this and share it with your associates as well. You can download the bit that you or your family member or your associate is talking to Dr. Wallach, and you treat this as gold, because not many people can do this, and you are welcome to invite anybody on the call. I want to thank Linda Tyler as well. She is a Youngevity associate that helps us put these calls together. And of course,
she's one of God's angels. Yeah, she's one of God's angels. Through her help, we communicate with millions of people every day. So we're really very, very proud of our relationship with her.
And it is a team effort. These calls are for everybody. I've got moderator Mike, who's one of the 1-stars in our team. I've decided to call my team Team G'day several years ago. But whatever team you're from, you can bring them to this call. And remember, these calls are uploaded to the New Zealand Facebook page. And if you want to get that, you can just go to the New Zealand, and it usually is uploaded by me without my distributor information about 1 or 2 days after the call. You can download that, you can share it. And Tracy, who may be on the call today, she is employed by Youngevity for Australia and New Zealand customers and distributors. So she also is available for you for product information. You can contact her via Facebook, the email, the phone number. She is in corporate to help you as well. I just thought I would mention that. And also, please put your question for Dr. Wallach in the comments section. That's the easiest way for me to get that. I do have quite a few people to get to. And if you are available or your associate is, it makes it even better, because Dr. Wallach sometimes has more to ask than what I have in front of me. Dean Mercer was a Ironman in Australia, Dr. Wallach. This is relating to a question from Mark from the Gold Coast. Dean Mercer was an Ironman. He died in 2017 after cardiac arrest, and he died in a car crash after cardiac arrest on the Gold Coast. And that was, I believe, recently after training. Very well-known Ironman, and very sad story. He was only 47 at the time. And I have a question from Mark from the Gold Coast, who is an Ironman. He's on the brain and heart pack, off the bad foods. And he's also added the rebound to his training schedule. He would like to know, he's 6'1", and he would like to know what would be the best time to take the rebound. Should he have it before training as well, Dr. Wallach?
And did we say how much he weighed?
6'1", I'm assuming he's probably perfectly, hasn't got much body fat on him, but I would say that he wouldn't be overweight. So
maybe 185 to 210 pounds, somewhere in there.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, the hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease is sudden heart death that young athletes die from. That's why Dr. Milan and I went to China, because there's a disease called Kishan disease in Kishan, China, which is that same disease. These kids are all 10 years old, 6 years old, 3 years old, 6 months old. They're all dying of this Kishan disease, the same hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart attack that kills these young athletes. And remember, I'm a veterinarian, and in pigs, it's called mulberry heart disease. So I'm very familiar with that, what the nutrient deficiency that causes it. And just because you're fit and can lift big weights and can run a mile without getting breathless and all kinds of stuff, if you're missing that nutrient, you're dead. I actually have a CD called Dead Athletes Don't Lie. I have another CD which says exercise without supplementation is suicide, okay? Because you can exercise and it will kill you if you're not supplementing with all 90 essential nutrients. Well, I eat well. Well, that's like saying, well, I drive my car 100 miles an hour around the track and I put dirt from Saudi Arabia in there, and there's bound to be some oil in it because it's dirt from the Middle East. Well, an insane person wouldn't do that to their car. They're going to put oil in there, okay? But my doctor says I can get everything I need just by eating well. Well, your doctor needs to go somewhere else, or you need to go somewhere else, because that's not true, okay? So what this guy needs to do is remember, in fact, we actually made the rebound for athletes who are dying of this heart attack, okay, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart attack, and we put extra of that one nutrient in there. There's like 5 times what the minimum daily requirement would be in there. And people say, which one is it? Which one is it? Well, I don't tell you. You got to read it. Yeah, you got to read it. Yeah, read it. But you got to take the stuff. It's in there. And you read the book and listen to the CD, Dead Athletes Don't Lie, Exercise on Supplementation and Suicide. And get the book, Rare Earth Spin Cures. You can do a hair analysis, and it will tell you how to do a hair analysis. And it'll tell you if you're absorbing, if you have high levels of that nutrient or not, or adequate levels or low levels. But you need to, in addition to taking 2 of the healthy brain and heart packs, use the biggest hammer in the toolbox, and it has plenty of that particular nutrient in it. Take full dose of everything twice a day in the healthy brain and heart pack. Get the MSM, take 3 of those 3 times a day. If he's an Ironman, take 3 of those 3 times a day for cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue. Take the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, 3 of those twice a day. That'll support healthy blood pressure and healthy blood flow through the brain and the eye and the heart and the kidneys and so forth. And don't forget the collagen, the collagen peptides, the glucogel liquid or capsules. We have the ProJoint FX. I take 3 of those twice a day also. I mean, I really hit light and, go heavy. And I'm 82 years old, Jamel. And most people think I'm in my 50s and 60s when they look at me. They can't believe I'm 82 years old, because I can still whip 3 people at one time by myself, okay? And my energy's good. I don't have any pre-existing conditions. I don't have any high blood pressure, or heart disease, or Alzheimer's disease, or any of that kind of stuff. No arthritis, no back problems, no liver cirrhosis, no kidney problems. I don't have any of that stuff, because I've been taking the nutrients for 73 years, and I've been gluten-free for 73 years.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wallach. I have been talking to some well-known athletes that watch this space, so hopefully they will be on very shortly. But this question about bound is so important because we, like the United States, we have athletes dying like Dean Mercer did.
Well, Jamel, and I don't know what your average age of your athletes there, but in America, the average age when you take all professional sports and all Olympic sports combined, the average athlete in America lives to be 62, except for basketball players. They're unique. Basketball players only live to be 51. Now, you think with all that exercise, they live a long time. No, they actually die younger because our average lifespan in America is 75. So why do these great athletes die anywhere from 10, 12, 15, 20 years before somebody who's just sitting there drinking beer, belching, and watching TV all day? Well, that's because they're burning up all these nutrients and they're eating a lot of gluten to keep their weight up. Spaghetti, flour tortillas, bread. They got to get away from all that stuff because they're blocking the absorption of nutrients, which will save their heart.
So that is another very important piece of information, because these athletes are eating extra gluten to keep their weight up. And that was something I never really thought of.
They should do rice. I mean, you can be a 300-pound sumo wrestler if you want, just eating rice.
Yeah. Okay, so Mike from, remember, I've got some questions here, but the best way is to put it in the chat box as well. I know people are watching on iPads and iPhones. That just means that I can go to you straight away. Mike has an associate. Mike, do you want to unmute yourself and let Dr. Wallach know what that question is there? Go ahead, Mike.
G'day, Dr. Wallach. Spider
Yes, sir.
Okay. For males, spider veins that are on the lower part of the ankle and foot. What's the story with that?
Yep. Okay, now, Jamal, the picture's gone away. I just see some kind of little marking that looks like a ball.
We can see you.
Oh, there you go. Now I can see. Okay. Anyway, spider veins are caused by a deficiency of a single nutrient. Mike, this person with the spider veins, do they also have any gray hair or white hair or silver hair?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Yeah, you might ask them, because they might color their hair or wear a wig, or they might just have maybe some gray. If it's a male, they might have some gray beard or something.
Oh, they have some
spider veins.
Yep.
Some gray beard. Yeah. Okay. Well, the same deficiency causes a loss of hair color. You may remember a black entertainer by the name of Michael Jackson. Remember Michael Jackson?
Sure do.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and he died at 51 of a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart attack and a ruptured aneurysm. He died of a ruptured aneurysm, right? And he had snow white hair. He had vitiligo. All his skin color went away. He had spider veins and hemorrhoids because it's all caused by a deficiency of the same nutrient. Okay. So how much does this person weigh with the spider veins?
Not sure. I would say maybe 200 pounds.
Okay, so 200 pounds. How tall are they?
Could be the same as me. Say around 6'2", 6'1".
Okay. And any other issues that you know of? High blood pressure, diabetes, bowel problems, skin problems?
They're, not that I know of, they're a little bit on the heavy side.
Okay, how old are they?
I think he's in his 40s.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, he's got some major deficiencies here, and it can cause sudden.
He's not fit looking. He's a bit more on the heavy looking, unfit side.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the spider veins and the hair color in his beard and that kind of stuff. Those are very specific nutritional deficiencies. Okay, and people say, which one is it? Which one is it? Well, get the books. Get the entire program. Don't just go to the store and buy that one nutrient because you'll die. Okay. And so at 200 pounds, this guy needs to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, rye, and oats, no sugar. Needs to get on 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I'd have him get 2 bottles a month of the MSM, so he can take 3 of those 3 times a day. I'd also have him take the Pro Joint FX, take 3 of those twice a day. And then I would throw in the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month for supporting healthy blood pressure and blood flow through constricted arteries. Now, but remember, this guy's got to get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bread, rye, no sugar. And the spider veins, varicose veins will go away. I mean, I can speak to a group of 1,000 people, and I see maybe 150 people in the audience with white hair. I'll say, all you guys with white hair that have spider veins or varicose veins, stand up. And they'll all stand up because that same deficiency that causes the white hair causes the spider veins, but it also, and varicose veins, but it also results in ruptured aneurysms, okay? And so you got to really, really watch it. But this all goes away very quickly within weeks, but you got to stay on the stuff and stay on the diet. Otherwise, within months, all the bad things will come back.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Wallach. Also, in the email, it said he has clicking on the back of his skull, like a little bit of click on the near his ear. There's on his skull.
Yeah,
it's like a twitch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, he could have osteoporosis of the skull. Of course, we have the book. It's called "It's All in Your Head." Goes into the 25 different diseases you can get from osteoporosis in the skull. Some of them people are familiar with, you know, like Bell's palsy and trigeminal neuralgia and ONA, optic nerve atrophy, where you slowly lose your vision. There's nothing wrong with your eye, but you're slowly losing your vision because the optic nerve is being slowly squeezed. You get tinnitus, ringing in the ears, squeezing of the auditory branch of the atrial nerve. You get vertigo or dizziness, which is a squeezing of the vestibular branch of the atrial nerve. And then you can get atrial fibrillation, AFib. There's nothing wrong with your heart, and they'll kill you doing ablation, trying to kill the part of the heart muscle that's going crazy. But it's actually the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, being squeezed by the skull. We have osteoporosis of the skull. So every family should have at least one of those books. It's all in your head, so everybody can learn about those 25 different diseases you get from osteoporosis of the skull. And clicking noises in your ears and stuff are some of the symptoms of the problems you have when you have osteoporosis of the skull. And doctors want you to think that osteoporosis only occurs in 75-year-old women who've had 8 kids. But babies can be born with osteoporosis. If the mother's not getting enough nutrition during the pregnancy, the baby can be born with osteoporosis. But it all goes away.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
You bet.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
I remember when I first started the Dr. Wallach protocol, I was pretty slack, but before I started Dr. Wallach's nutrients, I would wake up with sore gums. I'd have bleeding gums when I brushed my teeth. And it was a sign of arthritis. And since I've been on the bone and joint pack, my gums don't bleed anymore. And I've got Dr. Wallach to thank for that, because had I not come across Dr. Wallach at that point in my life, my body would have deteriorated.
Yeah. Well, Jamel, I'm 82 years old. I have all my own, it's all my own teeth. I don't have any of the, you know, dentures or implants or anything like that. It's all my own teeth. I'm 82 years old. Yep.
And when Dr. Wallach says that, lists that nutrient, it's important for us to do the follow-up as a Youngevity associate. And I've heard Dr. Wallach say this before. People rush out and they buy the cheapest nutrient because they've heard Dr. Wallach say that. They're probably, it's probably not clean. The Youngevity supplements are the best you can find. The mineral.
Well, not only that, they're complete, Jamel. When people, you know, I used to, you know, say 20 years ago, people would say, what nutrient is it? And I would tell them. And then 6 months later, I'd ask the wife, they said, well, how's Frank doing with his arthritis? Well, he died 3 months after he did what I told him to do. I said, well, did he give him all 90? No, I just gave him that one nutrient. So I stopped telling people what that one nutrient is.
That's right. And also the Youngevity products have the cofactors. So
that's when
you buy the Youngevity selenium, not only is it the best quality selenium you can get, and I've seen other seleniums on the market, and the big thing, the shock value for me is that the bottle was 4 times as heavy as our selenium, because it's not plant derived, and then there weren't the cofactors. Cofactors are so important.
Yeah, the cofactors make it work. It's just like, why do you put oil in your car? It's a cofactor.
Yes. And all these things fit into place, and you know, these are the things that, as a distributor, we need to know. We don't need to be a healthcare professional. I don't say I'm a healthcare professional. I'm a Youngevity distributor, but I'm referring to who I think the best doctor is on the planet. And, you know, I always say consult your own healthcare professional. And then the people that want to know what Dr. Wallach is talking about, that's what we're here for. We've got Susan from Townsville. She's 5'6", 120 pounds. 55, she's got vertigo. She's just started on the Healthy Start Pack and off the bad foods. But she's 55 with vertigo and gets sleepy after eating.
Okay. Sleepy after eating is called reactive hypoglycemia. You eat and then an hour later you fall asleep. Now, 400 years ago, they used to call that narcolepsy. You can look it up in a dictionary, narcolepsy. Well, people get sleepy after they eat. That's why people say, well, Frank wasn't drinking, but he crossed the center line and did a head-on collision and a car headed the other direction and killed himself and killed the other guy. But they can't find any drugs in him. No, he had reactive hypoglycemia. His blood sugar, you know, went down so low, he went to sleep. People get this all the time. They you know, they eat and then they go sit on the couch, watch TV. 30 minutes later, they're asleep for an hour and a half or so. That's reactive hypoglycemia. It's kind of like almost a pre-diabetes kind of thing. And so what I want Susan to do here to 120 pounds, get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, rhinos, no sugar. I also want her to have one healthy brain and heart pack per month. I want her to get another bottle of our selenium. There's one bottle of selenium that comes with the healthy brain and heart pack. Get another one, so you take 3 twice a day. Then I also want her to get our MSM. She can take one bottle of our MSM a month, so she can take 3 twice a day. I want her to take vitamin D3. I want her to take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And I also want her to take some of our glucogel. I want her to take our collagen peptides, 2 doses a day, our glucogel, 2 doses a day, either the liquid or the capsules. And then when she gets drowsy and she needs to be awake, our rebound, she could take that, either the powder, which you were showing, there you go, or the cans, or the little 1 serving sticks. And we also have, I don't know, do you guys have our hemp FX stuff there? Our CBD products?
Not in Australia and New Zealand at the moment, no.
Yeah, okay. And so at any rate, yeah, we have one of those, which is one that we mix with several herbs and it makes you wake up, sort of thing. But at any rate, yeah, the rebound is just perfect for that. But make sure it wouldn't hurt for her to throw in also the sweeties. She could get 2 bottles of sweeties, take 3 of those twice a day. That's going to help her manage her blood sugar so she doesn't get reactive hypoglycemia. And but getting rid of the bad stuff, the fried foods, the processed meats, the oils, the glutens, wheat, bran, rhinos, and the sugar, that's going to help her a lot. When they add the supplement program, she's going to have a miracle story.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. I think we've got time. I've got a couple of things to mention. I think we've got time for one more. If you do want to we have Isabel coming up. Isabel, you're going to be the next caller. If you have a question, please put your comment in the chat box. We might be able to fit you in. One of the very popular products is this one here, Dr. Wallach. I was wondering if you could let us know why this works so well. It's I moved this coming up to summer as a distributor. The Youngevity Rev. Why does this work so well, and yeah, how would that add to somebody's weight loss program?
Well, basically what it does, it actually helps you absorb nutrients. It helps you absorb nutrients. And when you absorb nutrients, your cravings go away. When people are deficient in minerals, they get a behavior called pica. Okay, that's why you put a salt block out in the yard, the cows and the horses sheep will run up there and start licking that salt because they're missing minerals. Okay, that's why we put minerals in the salt block, so they get the minerals when they lick the salt. Okay, well, people will have a deficiency of minerals and they'll eat and they'll gain weight because they're eating too much. And the doctors say, well, eat more grains. Well, they're going to eat gluten, it'll make it worse. But the Rev actually helps calm the intestines down, anti-inflammatory, calms everything down. And you got to get off of gluten. You can still eat gluten, but the Rev will help you absorb more nutrients, and then that helps you lose weight.
And what's the best time to have the Rev? I know there are instructions on the box. Should you really have it in between meals, before a meal? What was the best?
Well, it depends on how much weight you need to lose, okay? If you just need to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, I'd go ahead and just follow the instructions in the bottle. But if you need to lose 50 to 75 to 100 pounds, I would take it before meals and in between meals.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Wallach. Isabel, can you unmute yourself your end? Otherwise, I'm going to ask on your behalf. If you can unmute yourself now. Go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Wallach. Hi, Jamel.
Hello.
Hello, Isabel. She's a 1-star from Port Macquarie. Welcome, and go ahead, Isabel.
Dr. Wallach, my daughter is 16 weeks pregnant, and she's just gone for her some sort of test. They made you drink a liquid, and then they wanted to see if you were diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
And the test has come back that they've said positive, that she's glycemic diabetes.
Okay, how much does she weigh?
She's about 90 kilos. She's 5'1".
Okay, well, 5'1", 90
21.
kilos. She's like 180, 200 pounds. She's a big girl.
Yeah, she has put on a bit of weight with this,
Yeah.
just before the baby.
Okay, so has she been taking the Youngevity products at all?
No, I cannot get her
Okay.
to take it.
Okay, well, she's going to be in trouble here because these deficiencies will be found in the baby, and the baby will be born with these deficiencies, okay? And so she needs to get rid of all the bad foods: no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bread, rye oats, and no sugar. Now she can have rice and sweet potatoes and corn, okay? She can have those things. But she also needs to take, I'd have her take 2 healthy brain. Has she been taking any prenatal vitamins or any vitamins before she got pregnant?
She takes this one thing that I forgot what it's called.
Okay, stop. Okay,
Yeah.
stop. You're not answering the question. Was she taking any vitamins and minerals for any length of time before she got pregnant?
She has taken Herbalife vitamins a few times on and off.
But nothing consistent?
No.
Okay, well, let's keep our fingers crossed, because all birth defects are caused by nutritional deficiencies. And that's why my thesis is in the Smithsonian Institute's National Treasure. I proved that all birth defects are caused by nutritional deficiencies of the embryo. So let's keep our fingers crossed. But does she plan on breastfeeding this baby?
Yes, she does.
Okay, then I'd get her on 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. Start her out with a half a dose twice a day. And then after a week or 10 days, she can go to a full dose twice a day, but start out with a half a dose twice a day. And then because she's a diabetic, I would also get her 2 bottles of our sweeties per month. She can start out by taking 2 of those sweeties twice a day. And then after a couple of weeks, I'd have her go to 3 times a day. Okay, and if she's on medication, don't have her do not have her cold turkey off the medication. She can take her blood sugar, and as the blood sugar begins to come down, she can slowly reduce the medication based on the numbers as the doctors teach her to do. But she needs the sweeties for her diabetes. And the baby may be born with type 1 diabetes, because the deficiencies can cause a lack of development of the cells in the pancreas of the embryo. So the baby's born with type 1 diabetes. It's not a genetic thing, but it is mama's missing the nutrients when those parts of the pancreas are forming. And so instead of having 6,000 beta cells per islet of Langerhans, the baby might only have 6. And so the baby will be born with type 1 diabetes. So let's get her going on these supplements, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that the baby's not a type 1 diabetic, okay?
And Dr. Wallach, that will be okay to take halfway through the pregnancy?
Well, she should have been taking it for 6 months before the pregnancy.
Yeah, they say it was a surprise. I don't think so, but they say it's a surprise.
Well, I think if she had a doctor, then the doctor should be responsible for any bad thing that happens here, okay? Because if she's married or sexually active, and the doctor didn't say, hey, you're sexually active, you're married, or you're sexually active and not married, doesn't matter, you better be taking these vitamins. I don't plan on getting pregnant. I don't care, but you need to be taking these supplements, so if you do get pregnant, the baby will be safe. But if the doctor didn't say that and the baby has a problem, well, we have an issue here, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so let us know how this works. We'll every time she goes in to see the doctor and they give her some kind of statement or information or report, you need to report back to us, because people are going to want to hear what's going on here. And the doctor may say, well, we need to run some more tests here because this doesn't fit your profile here. You have all these problems and suddenly now you don't have all these problems. We must got the mistake, you know, we may got somebody else's data here. So they rerun the test and it's her. I've had that happen literally thousands of times a year where the patient will go into the doctor and say, well, we need to rerun all these tests because this can't be you.
Well, let's hope we have that testimony.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. God bless you. And thank you so much, Isabel.
God bless you, Dr. Wallach. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isabel. And I want to thank everybody. We've got a couple more minutes. I just want to say thanks again to Dr. Wallach. Thank you for everybody from all over the place, all different groups, for helping make this happen. This is week number 22. We'll be back with week number 23 next week. We've got a couple of minutes before the end of the hour. Dr. Wallach, would you like to close with any information?
Yeah, I really would. Thank you, Jamel. And basically what I want people to do is think about all of your friends and relatives and neighbors and church mates and workmates and so forth around, and people around the world. People you just meet on the street and you see them eating bad things. People have to get off of gluten. People have to take the 90 essential nutrients. And then that's why you need to get a hold of the book, Hell's Kitchen, and the CD, Hell's Kitchen. You want to get a hold of the book, Epigenetics, and the CD, Epigenetics. You want to get a hold of that quartet of books, Let's Play Doctor, Let's Play Herbal Doctor, Passport Aromatherapy, and It's All in Your Head. Those 4 books will teach you how to diagnose over 600 different diseases, okay? Because the doctors make so many mistakes. The doctors make so many mistakes because the only prescription medication that cures anything is antibiotics will kill gram-positive bacteria like strep and staph, and will also kill some salmonella and E. coli, stuff like that. All other treatments just treat symptoms. All other treatments just treat symptoms. And people are happy. Oh my gosh, I had arthritis for 20 years. The pain was so awful I couldn't even go up the stairs. My doctor gave me prednisone. Now I can run up the stairs. Well, then 2 years later, you have to have 2 knee replacements for $50,000 each because the prednisone actually accelerated the mineral loss out of the bones and didn't fix the problem, but just covered up the symptoms. And so this is the difference between giving your body what it needs to maintain and repair itself. We were given a body that has the ability to maintain and repair itself, but it requires raw materials. And when we came up with electricity and stopped putting wood ashes into our garden, and of course the wood ashes were the universal mineral supplement in the world prior to electricity. And all the industrialized nations, okay, especially in the Western world, they're the ones with the biggest problems. And when you look at the third world cultures that eat nothing but rice and sweet potatoes, they have the least problems. So there you are.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wallach. I want to thank everybody else for being on the call. You are welcome to unmute yourself and say goodbye to Dr. Wallach until next week. Thank you, Dr. Wallach.
Thank you, Jamel. Cheers. All of the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
God bless.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
G'day, I'm Jamel Boukabou with Dr. Joel Wallach, who's been nominated for Nobel Prize for Medicine, has a book in the Smithsonian, and was awarded at the United Nations. Doc, your life's work, you are the naturopathic doctor. You're traveling around the world. What can we expect?
Well, what I'm going to do is teach people how to prevent as many as 900 different diseases, how to reverse as many as 900 different diseases, and by saving themselves and saving their families, will save the world.
Wow. And I'm an independent distributor, he's a doctor. So my job is to get that information out to you and refer to the best doctor, I think, on the planet, Dr. Joel Wallach. Get in touch with us now and we'll show you how. And you can create a great income too for your friends and your family, and you can really get some people healthy. Thank you.